Hey guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So it's been a while since I've done a similar games episode, so I thought, this one I've been meaning to do for a while now, and that is Joust and Sir Lancelot. So Joust is actually a lot more popular. This is a classic game. I've played this a few times on my channel. I've done like comparisons between it and say the 7800 version, which is, graphically different and, a little bit more amped up. But in the end, the game, 2600 version anyways, it plays very well. The graphics are great. Everything about this is a nice game. Even when I first got it, I was quite surprised on how well it was for the system that it was on. The other one, Sir Lancelot, is a lesser known title, I think, because the double enders are a little more scarce. I have a few. I have, a couple other double enders, which, I have played some of the games on this, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I've done Chuck Norris. But yeah, this one I also have done the other side of it, which is Robin Hood. If you're not familiar with these things, it's two games in one. So you got a cartridge there, and then you got a cartridge there. So you can actually, play it one side. When you're done, you can turn around and play a different game. Interesting concept back in the day. You either had something like this, or you had the multi-carts, which had multiple games in them. But those were, I think those came a little bit later on in Atari's life cycle as well. And this one's a little bit more expensive. These two, I think I've picked up, each of them, I think I paid about $10 each. It wasn't so bad, but this one was like $40. And I heard it even goes for more online. And so that's quite a bit of money for an Atari cartridge. It's just that this one is a little bit more scarce. I don't know why. It's 1983. It could just be, maybe it was one of the last ones made or something like that. I don't know if the other ones are 83 as well. Yeah, they are. So I don't know. I don't know what it is about this one. Maybe it's just the games were better on it. Anyways, yeah, so I'm going to do a comparison where I'm going to actually show how this game, Joust, and this game, Sir Lancelot, have a lot of similarities to them and play kind of in the same fashion. Okay, let's first start off with Joust on the Atari 2600. Now, I have played this game before. It's one of my favorites to play on this system because it's so well done. 1983, that was our, the quote-unquote North American video game crash. But yeah, right off the bat, you could tell that the graphics are well done on this. And even just this title screen, you don't get that in a lot of, 2600 games, especially some of the earlier ones. There was no title screen. It was literally just the game. It would just pop up and then you just start playing. So let's play the game. Oops. I don't want two players. Oh, that's the teddy bear. That's the easy mode. I don't want that. So let's do it this way. Alright. Yeah, some of the Atari games, they had like an easy mode. They had a little picture of a teddy bear icon to kind of symbolize that. You usually have to know which settings you want and the difficulty switches and all that. That's something I often I'm pretty bad at doing is paying attention to the difficulty switches. I usually just pop the game in and just start playing it, and I don't even make the adjustments or figure out what I want to change it to. So yeah, so you're just this guy and this, like, I don't know what you're jousting on, like a huge bird. And when you attack them, they turn into eggs, and then you have to get the eggs. So if you don't get the eggs, they hatch into another jousting opponent, which would be a little bit harder and faster to get. So you got to get those eggs. I just like how he stops and you see him like hit the brakes. The thing about this game is the way the physics work. The way your bird works, especially when you're flying. Like, you got to keep flapping. Whoa, right there, you just turned into an enemy. You don't have a lot of time to get the eggs before they hatch, by the way. As far as jousting is concerned, you got many options. You can face them head on, kind of like a proper joust. That's not bad. You just got to make sure that you're a little bit higher up than the opponent. If you're equal like that, you kind of just bounce off each other. It makes that funny little noise. the easiest way is to like land on them. At least I found. Like that. You just kind of drop down. You flap above them and drop down on them. You can also get them from behind. And, well, this is an interesting level too. They're just eggs in the beginning. And if you're fast enough, you can get them all before they hatch. Just like that. And paying attention to where all the little stands are. These almost can become obstacles. And we got this little pterodactyl guy. Another cool thing is when you start the round, or when you die and then you respawn, you kind of had that second of it flashing right there. And when that's happening, you are not, you don't have to worry about being killed by anything. It's kind of that grace period where it lets you respawn without killing you right away. And that's kind of a good thing, because there's nothing worse than respawning in an area where there's already an enemy, and then they go and they kill you. I mean, it's kind of unfair. But yeah, I mean, that's Joust. I mean, it's a cool game. I really enjoy it. I think it's perfect on the Atari 2600. Okay, time to play Sir Lancelot by Zonox. This is the double-ended one. So yeah, right off the bat, you can see it's a really good, I mean, the graphics are nice. It's pleasing. You can see there's like a little sunset skyline there. You got a castle in the middle. But like I said with Joust, there's no actual, like, you know, different startup screen. This was common with Atari. And you got your little hero down there, Sir Lancelot, waiting on his horse. And he's got his lance in his hand. So these are like flying, I don't know what they are. I think they're like birds or something. You got different enemies in this, obviously. So let's start the game. So, I mean, it does behave a little bit like Joust. I mean, you got to push up, you got to keep flapping, you got to keep pushing the button, keep flapping. It's very similar physics to the game. Now the difference is too, you can't land on these guys. You have to kind of joust them by hitting them square on, and much like in the Joust fashion, you have to be higher, or else you will either connect or lose. But I'm finding it's not too difficult because the enemies are, you know, much smaller than you. Now this is the secondary stage. This is one thing that sets this game apart. Is it actually has almost like a level 2, if you want to say, where you got to save the little princess by stabbing the dragon, and then you go on to the third screen of the first. Whatever. It's kind of like the first screen, but you got different enemies now. So you kind of toggle between going in and out of the outside of the castle to the inside of the castle. But first you have to defeat everything. And, whoa. Just flew right into those guys. Another thing that's different is you have the whole open air. You don't have to worry about those things getting in the way, those little platforms, which sometimes were nice because you got to stop for a minute. Oh, oh, ah, I just landed right in the lava. That wasn't good. Oh. I mean, I think because there's no platforms, it does make it a little bit easier. Also, they don't turn into eggs in this, so you don't have to worry about killing them twice, essentially, or collecting the egg after you're done. You just have to you know, win the joust, and that's it. And then you move on to the second stage. Of course, that's supposed to be a dragon, but it kind of looks to me like a giant chicken. Perhaps a turkey. I don't know. I think Atari is kind of weird when it comes to, you know, drawing dragons. Oftentimes they don't look great. With the exception of, say, Dragonfire, I think they look good in that game. But we all know the adventure game on the Atari 2600. Everybody calls them like ducks or chickens. Like, they don't call them dragons because they don't look like dragons. It's like they always seem to have this problem with creating dragons. That's your little damsel in distress over there, and of course it just moves back in. Now we gotta fight these things. I don't know what they are. They're all different enemies, though. That's another thing that sets this apart. The Joust game, it's really just the same enemies over and over again. You know, some of them change color based on their speed and how hard they are to win a joust with. And then you also have in Joust the pterodactyl, which is not in this one, obviously. The sound effects are interesting in this one too. A little different. I mean, there's some similarities with the flapping noise, but the sound effects it makes is a little bit different. Whoa! Just got killed. See, that was an example of me trying to land on one, and you can't do that in this game. Whoa! Just wipe them all out in one foul swoop. I sort of landed on him there, but didn't make contact with my lance, so that was no good. And this one, oh jeez, he hit me. And this one, you have to kind of like get underneath him. That's it. I mean, he's pretty easy to beat. There's not really a lot to him. You just kind of got to make contact with your lance under the bottom of him, and you got him. Oh no. Ah, jeez. And I'm out. So, yeah, pretty good games, both of them, actually. And it's surprising. I kind of had fun with this one, the Sir Lancelot game. It's just a different take, and it's a little bit easier. I mean, I find Joust to be sometimes, you know, I guess because there's more obstacles, it's a little harder to play. Not that that's a bad thing, you know, you kind of want some difficulty in your games, but I just found that this Sir Lancelot just gave you something a little bit more casual to just throw in there and just play around with. And the fact that it's, you know, it's not a very common game, so you don't see it very often. I know that No Swear Gamer did a great video on this, so if you want to actually learn the ins and outs of this game, and, you know, if you want to understand the scoring and all that other stuff, hop over to his video. I'll throw a link down below. So you can check out his, you know, he does it a little bit more thorough than I did, where he actually explains what's going on. Joust, again, I can't say any more good things about this game. It's a definite must if you have an Atari 2600. Joust, it doesn't cost you much. I mean, these are usually like $5, maybe 10, I don't know. I think I paid $5 for this, and it's pretty common. But it's a great game. As you saw, the graphics, it had a nice title screen, and the play, like just being able to play the game, the fluid movement of the controls, it's an all-around great game. And no matter what system you play it on, and I say this quite a bit of you know, certain classic games, like, you know, playing it on the 7800, or even playing it on the Nintendo or the arcade version, whatever, they're all great games. And I even believe the Ready Player One book, not the movie, the book, Joust is mentioned in there quite a bit, being that it's the one game that he always has a hard time playing. So that's kind of interesting, and I believe that that's the game he has to beat. I'm trying to remember now, it's been a couple years since I read the book, but I remember a big thing about him having to beat Joust. So that's kind of interesting. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Let me know what you think, if you played these, which one's your favorite. What's your favorite port of Joust, if you play it on any systems or on the computer. I've originally played it on the Commodore 64 as well. Would love to hear it. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Check out the No Swear Gamers link down below if you want to learn more about Sir Lancelot. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.